Welcome to my chow line. I'm Tracy Lingle. Join me as we serve up dishes that are sure to please. We will also talk about military service and food. I'll be sharing a story today from my Uncle Gerry. He served in Vietnam. We're going to be making smoked queso. Alright, so we're making smoked queso. So to start off with, we're going to smoke our meat. Now for the meat, you can use just about any kind of meat you would like. Chorizo, beef, you could do ground turkey, ground chicken if you really want to do that kind of stuff. I don't want to do that. So we're going to use some sausage, and then I'm also going to mix in some venison. So I've got approximately 5 pounds of meat here. It's a 3-pound thing of sausage and 2 pounds of ground venison. We're going to add it to the pan and season it up. Alright, so we've got our meat in the pan. I've broke it up, spread it out a little bit. One, we want to make sure the seasoning gets on all of it. Two, we want when we put it on the smoker, we want all that smoke to get on all the pieces of meat. So to start off with, we're going to put a little bit of Worcestershire sauce in here, just or Worcester or whatever the W sauce here. Just no measurement, just kind of feeling, just add a little bit. I like the umami that it provides. It's not this isn't a traditional dish, but this is my interpretation of it. We have ground cumin. Gonna make sure we get plenty of cumin in there. That gives you the kind of a more southwest kind of flavor to it. Add some of that in there. For a little heat, we're gonna add some diced chipotles. And then we're going to take our grill your ass off taco and fajita seasoning, and we're going to liberally apply to this. Alright, now we're going to put this on the smoker and let it start cooking. Alright, so we've just pulled this off. If you don't have something like this for breaking up the ground beef or ground pork or whatever you're trying to do, man, these things are amazing for helping break it up, keep it small so you don't end up with big chunks of meat. But anyway, so I've let this get some smoke on it. You can see here we've got some coloration on some char, a little bit of char on the edge. I like having a little bit of that on the edge of your meat. It's got a good smoke on it. So now we're going to add our other things. This is a great meal. Or not meal, a great appetizer for a large group. We do this for parties, for get-togethers, gatherings, like Cinco de Mayo, which happens to be this weekend. You may not see this for Cinco de Mayo, but Cinco de Mayo, or other gatherings, football, tailgating, whatever, basketball game, watch, whatever. Take it to a potluck, but it's a great idea. So what we got here is I'm going to add a little bit more of this taco seasoning for grill your ass off. Just a little bit more. Because all this other stuff is going to help soak up some of that seasoning, so you want to make sure you have the flavor. I'm also going to add, for a little texture, I'm adding 2 cans of sweet corn that's been drained. Just adds a little bit of texture to it. We've got rotel, we've got the Mexican style lime and cilantro, plus we also have the 1 can of hot, just to add a little more heat to it. And you can use whatever you would like in this. You can use you can change the numbers. If you want to just do a small batch, you can do a small batch. Reduce the amount of beef or pork or whatever your meat is, and reduce the amount of cheese you put in. But this is what I'm doing because I have a large family, so we like to eat this stuff. In fact, we'll probably eat it for a meal. We'll put it on nachos, we'll put it on all kinds of stuff. So we're going to add, alright, so we got smoked Gouda. We also have Velveeta. And so we got a brick and a half of Velveeta and 2 large 1-pound blocks of smoked Gouda. So we're going to add this to it. And I use some of the Queso Blanco style and also the Mexican style Velveeta, just because we like a little bit of spice. And I already sliced it, break it up, spread it out here, and then we'll stir it up, mix it in, and we'll put it back in the smoker. You could add some jalapenos, you could add some other vegetables if you'd like. Make it as complex as you want, or make it as simple as you want. You don't have to add the corn. You don't even have to add the rotel. You could just do the meat and cheese, or you could just do the cheese if you wanted to. I prefer the meat and cheese because it adds a little bit of protein to it, and it makes it a very filling snack. So if you're having a group of people over, it'll go a long way. All right, welcome to the part of the show where I tell you a story. Got the smoked quesos on the smoker right now. We got about 45 minutes before it's ready for me to stir it up and mess with it. But I want to sit down and share a story with you. Like I said earlier, if you're watching the entire cook video, I'm honoring my uncle Gerry, with his story from Vietnam, and I wanted to share that with you. So I'm gonna pour myself a drink of Horse Soldier bourbon, great hooch. And then I'm gonna light a Warfighter Tobacco cigar. I want to share these stories with you because I think it binds us together in the veteran community, and gives you a little bit of an insight into our relationship with food and our relationship with service. And I just think it's a really neat idea to do this. If you're seeing this video and you're not watching the full cook video, I include this in the middle of the cook, because usually when you're smoking or grilling meat, you have to put it on and let it sit for a little bit. So I like to enjoy a cigar, enjoy a drink or a beer or Coke or whatever it is that you like. But I want to share his story with you. My Uncle Gerry, second lieutenant, I believe, Vietnam. When I was in the Vietnam with the 1st Air Cav Division in 1966 through 1967, I had a memorable Christmas. It began when I wrote my mother regarding the morale of the enlisted men who were often demoralized when their name was not called during mail call. She took it upon herself to organize what came to be called the CARE program, which provided items for platoon-sized units with basic amenities that were not readily available at the time. Stationery, Kool-Aid, Tabasco, just to name a few. She got Avondale High School home economics class, the girls class, to bake cookies and write letters to the troops. With Christmas approaching, we received a Santa Claus suit that had been retired from use by the Davison department store in Atlanta. My family's from Atlanta, just so you know. At the time, the Air Cav was constantly in the field and was unlikely to return to base camp in An Khê. I don't know how to pronounce that. I didn't hear he wrote this yet. I didn't actually hear him pronounce it, so I probably got that wrong. Or you could look up Camp Radcliffe, and that would show you where it is. We returned to base camp in An Khê or Camp Radcliffe for the holiday. It was unlikely to return to base camp in An Khê or Camp Radcliffe for the holiday, but at the last minute, the battalion returned, and we were surprised with a visit from Bob Hope. And also, this meant that our mess sergeant, gotta love the mess sergeants, was going to be busy with organizing a Christmas dinner for over 500 weary troops. To top it off, I talked the Sarge into making an appearance as Santa. You know, as a guy that likes to cook for people, I can definitely see that not being a hard sell. People who serve food and enjoy serving food take pride in it, and also take pride in cheering people up and making them feel good. So this makes a lot of sense. So it meant he had to top it off, I got the sergeant to make an appearance as Santa, to the delight of the troops. Since the evening was young, we took the show on the road, as they say, throughout the base camp. Needless to say, we were well received wherever we went, and were often given a celebratory drink because Santa made an unexpected visit on Christmas Eve. The festivities were concluded at the mess hall for the enlisted soldiers. While officers seldom associated with them, I was greeted warmly and invited to join them in the celebration, thanks to the presence of Santa. While the letter home he sent to his mom, my grandmother, had led to a memorable Christmas, my mother continued a care project for the rest of the war. Thanks to her fundraising and dedication to serve troops, she sent a message that we care. Mess sergeants. Yeah, I'll include some pictures that I found of Camp Radcliffe. If you didn't know, Camp Radcliffe was named after the first casualty of the 1st Air Cav in Vietnam. He was a major, I believe. They named it not long before my uncle got there. It was a large base, but they spent most of their time out in the field doing patrols and doing fire missions and things like that. But he was a second lieutenant with the Air Cav, and we were soldiers kind of look. The helicopters flying in, dropping guys off, and they had Chinooks and they had Hueys, and just him telling me just a few stories. He hasn't told me a ton of stories from his time, but the different war, different time, but it seems like it's always the same situation. People don't change that much as far as the way they participate in war, whether they're the soldiers on the ground or whether they're the people at home sending care packages and things like that. Each war has its own uniqueness, but he didn't talk too much about the actual Christmas meal, but he knows that they enjoyed it because it was a warm, hot meal, and it was special because it was Christmas. And it was made special through all the pageantry of having Bob Hope there on the USO tour, and it was a surprise because Bob Hope decided to come at the last minute. So that's one of the reasons they brought them all back at the last minute, I believe, based on what I've read. My uncle didn't have a ton of pictures from that time, so I got a lot of stock photos. So please forgive me. Some of them may not be from exactly 1966 and 1967, but they are of Camp Radcliffe and of the 1st Cav, because the Cav was there almost the entire time. So anyway, if you have stories that you would like to share with me, comment below. Send me a message on Instagram. I would love to share your story. I'd love to include it because I think everybody has a unique story, but I think there are similarities with a lot of our stories as veterans. So please like, share, subscribe, share this with a buddy. If you know a guy that is missing out on things, hey, send it to him. Encourage him. You know, we all love food. We all love smoked barbecue and all that kind of stuff. And I do that on this channel, but I also want to tell stories that relate to our military service and honor those that have gone before us, and those of us that have gone overseas. Honor our buddies. If you have a story about a buddy that's no longer with us that you would like to share so his name doesn't get forgotten, please do. Don't let the hard days win. Thank you so much. I'm going to finish enjoying this cigar. I'm going to enjoy this drink and check on our food. But thank you so much for coming to my chow line. All right, so I noticed that the queso didn't have enough cheese. Needed more cheese. As with anything, it needs more cheese. So I put in about 3 cups of cheddar cheese shredded on top. Let that melt down a little bit. I'll stir it up, and then we will let this continue to smoke for a little bit more, and it will taste amazing, I'm sure. We'll check it out. Alright, so finally all the cheese is melted down, got a little bit of smoke on it, pulled it off, served it up. This is what we got. It smells amazing. Let's get a taste test. Got a little bit of sour cream in here as well. Oh my goodness. Got a little bit of heat to it, but not a lot. Cheesy. Got some crunch to it. That sour cream adds a little bit of something to it. This is really good. Okay, I'm going to eat all this. Nobody else is getting any. Oh my god. If you've never done a smoked queso, dude, you gotta try it. It is absolutely amazing. My kids crave it. They ask for it all the time. I usually make this for family events, especially if we're gonna do like a Christmas, Thanksgiving, graduation celebration, whatever. I usually make this. Grill your ass off, taco seasoning, awesome. Horse Soldier bourbon, awesome. Warfighter tobacco, awesome. Smoked queso, da bomb. Dude, amazing. You can do your own variation of it, whatever, but man, that's just so good. I want to also thank Uncle Jerry. This is for you. One of the reasons I wanted to do this for Uncle Jerry was we do a lot of parties, Christmas, family gatherings and stuff, and this is always a treat. We always have some kind of snack or some kind of appetizer, always feeding a crowd, and this is a hit. And I just did this for you, Uncle Jerry. Again, thank you all you veterans out there, past and present. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Catch y'all on the flip side. See you on the next video. Oh, come on. Well. Nope, nobody else is getting any of this.